Alright, so we're gonna see if this one's a little bit more stable.
Okay.
So we have the game up here, and as I was saying before I was slightly interrupted, there's some things I'm going to explain as we go along here, but the plot of this game is that Kirby is taking a nap and it's up to Meta Knight to save the world. So we're gonna go ahead and do so in 3, 2, 1, go. So, Meta Knight controls much different than Kirby in this game. He's kind of like a Kirby with a wing and sword ability at the same time, but he also has a bunch of different unique moves to him. One of which is the shuttle loop, and another which is the dash attack. Both of which are going to be useful for just moving around a lot faster than running, jumping, sliding, anything else that Meta Knight can normally do. Shuttle loop in particular, it kind of looks like Cape in Super Mario World if you're familiar with that. You can like control your trajectory. The ideal way you want to use that is, well, you're close to the ground. And we're collecting these points on the field, which are going to let us use certain abilities you're seeing on the bottom screen here. Notice on the bottom screen, I'm just going to explain what's down there. We have extra lives, you always start with 7. An in-game timer, which is one of the most accurate for all of speedrunning this game. It's pretty great. Coins, which only give you 1-ups. They're pretty neat looking though. Amiibo, we won't be using Amiibo in this run. Clearly, the only right answer is to not use Amiibo any runs ever. No, I'm just kidding. Fun fact, this game actually has like an indicator whether you use the Amiibo or not in the run. So on the like in-game splits. Yes, this game has in-game splits, and it's like amazing for that. But yeah, we also have 4 power-ups that I'll be explaining a bit. And we gotta deal with Clanky Woods here, so we're just gonna dive into him and shuttle loop in the corner a few times since that's our highest damage attack. It's about as OP as Brawl, maybe even more so. And just go our way here. So, in this game, all code cubes and rare stickers are actually replaced with these point groups. There's 8 and 5, 3, 1, 2, depending on how many points are on the field, depending on which enemies you beat. And we have to get a certain amount of points in order to use our abilities on the bottom screen here. Those would be Galaxia's Darkness, which would deal a good amount of damage to enemies on screen, Meta Knightmares, which deals even more and hits enemies off screen even. Meta Quick, which doubles your speed, and Healing, which we probably won't be using in this run, but you never know. Just brings you back up to full health. But Meta Quick doubles your speed, so we want to be using that constantly. Yes, this game is wonderful, by the way. It's actually just one of the top Kirby games for a lot of people. It's definitely something I wanted to put a lot of time and dedication into to get good for people, since I'm doing this game for Summer Games Done Quick as well. But right now we're doing it for Power Up with Pride, which is a charity marathon, which is benefiting the Trans Law Center. And you folks are welcome to donate at any time here. But there's no obligation. But it would be nice. You have a little goal, not too lofty, but it should be cool. So, you can only activate Meta Quick at certain points. You can't just like spam the button on the screen and just get it. You have to wait until it runs out. It lasts for about 10 seconds. And then you gotta do it again. So we have a specific route we have to like press the button at. It's not going to run out the same spot every time, but generally we want it to run out when we have control over it, obviously. These bullets, by the way, are going to knock us back into the background, and we don't want that to happen. And now we're getting off this train here. That giant Sparky right there just sometimes does not like to cooperate, so we do an extra wing flap before we do this shuttle loop right there. All the movement's mostly predetermined what we're gonna do, but sometimes we have to like kind of improv depending on how well we do. So now we have to climb this tower here. The plot of this game is that Haltman's trying to take over all of Dreamland, and it's up to Kirby / Meta Knight to stop him. Meta Knight doesn't get Robobot armor like I said earlier, but he does get his trusty sword Galaxia, which is made of pretty much everything and anything because it can turn fire to ice, it can actually light fuses, it can do switches, it can just solve every puzzle in the game. It's just overpowered. He's the most powerful warrior in the universe, and he's out to prove it again. We have a sword beam. That's useful for just dealing extra damage to enemies. Does a good amount of power to it, and it's just useful for optimization too. But we're just going to keep going through our first level patch planes here, and through the tower, and get our invincibility candy. Candy makes you invincible, gives you double speed. It doesn't stack with Meta Quick though. You could get quadruple speed, but it doesn't actually work like that. And that was our buddy Waddle Dee. He throws us points. We don't need him. There's a couple of points we can actually skip Waddle Dee. It's actually a bandana Waddle Dee. There's an important distinction to make. Most Waddle Dees are evil. But not by choice. Right when it runs out, we'll make it quick. Nope, didn't get that. Oh well. And we'll get to this door. Like I said, Meta Knight has a dozen different moves at disposal. Spin slashes, condor dives. It's literally called condor dives. Shout out to Street Fighter. We need to go up here, and we're gonna actually skip a meta quick because we're a little bit low on points. RNG is only a slight variable with this run, but it is something worth considering. Depending on like what enemies you kill, how many points you get. It all kind of adds up at the end. Meta Knight's wings also do damage. We'll need to skip this one right here. We're not going to meta quick right now because we're a little low. Just want to be safe. And we have our second mid-boss, the first one we defeated with Invincibility Candy. This one, we'll be using our Meta Knightmares, calling in these dudes. Boom. And blown away. It just defeats them in one shot here. Some bosses you don't. Some are a little bit tougher. And at the end of the levels, you get about 12 points from this drop section. Sometimes it's a switch, and sometimes we just have to pass it because it's faster to not get it. And we always get, what, 8 points from Wild D as well. So now we have Kalanky Woods. We'll be skipping a cutscene, doing a shuttle loop, up stab, and the Condor Dive. Meta Knight has moves that just naturally combo into themselves in this game, kind of like stab, slashes and up stabs. You can actually do slashes back to back if you're charging your spin. Meta Knight's a very technical character for this game. So we're going to go ahead and hit him with a sword beam and wait for all that health to drain. If he actually has any yellow health left, you actually will only knock him down to a quarter health here instead of the 2 that he's at right now. He does have to go into this phase 3 here. And stab him off screen with the Sky Knight's. I actually think Sky Knight's sword is the move of the beam. I don't actually memorize all the move names. But all the moves have names, all the enemies in this game have names. It's Kirby series, it's great. Also, here's your in-game splits. Let you know how you're doing. We prefer using in-game time over RTA for this game for a couple of reasons. For one, you actually can't finish the game without doing a speedrun. Funny enough. So like, if you've ever played this game, congratulations, you're a speedrunner. Poyo! There's Poyobot. That's why it's this feature. There we go. I'll get back to those reasons in a minute. We're gonna go through Resolution Road here for a sec. We have to get some points from these J2s and sleeping enemies to give out a good amount. And these big cats give 3. Ooh, and a down stab is a quick way to get to the ground, but you gotta be making sure that you know what you're doing with it. Good. Meta Knight's shuttle loop can actually like extend him upwards a little bit more than he actually is, so it's good for like movement optimization. The game is like pure optimization when you get right down to like high levels. And we have our Telepathos boss, and we'll get to see Galaxia's Darkness. He throws his cape and does damage in a line. Kind of like his Brawl Final Smash. It looks like it. It behaves quite a bit differently, though. Poor Waddle Dee. Just had to get a drill stab there. Doing that actually is a little bit slower than normally moving, because it lags down the game slightly. That's another factor. So sometimes you want to shuttle loop in places where drill stabbing would not be enough. And we're just going to make our way up the second tower here. That would be an okay time for donations, I suppose. Not too much going on here. And if we don't have donations, that's perfectly fine too. Here to stream out, folks. Because who wouldn't want to see any of this? Oh, we barely skimmed the ground there. Lost a little bit of control. And now we're going to go up here and fight another Miasmaros. So when the health bar appears halfway across the screen, you can actually hit the boss. It's more like a third, but it's extremely risky to do it at that point. You're like counting frames, and if you don't hit it, you'll just miss completely. And all these puzzle sections, by the way, I didn't point this out in patch plans. This puzzle section right here, you're rewarded with 8 points at the end. It's infinitely faster to just skip them each time and get the fake chest. .208 to that door is an absolutely stellar time. Timer does freeze at certain points, including between loading different areas and when you're on warp stars sometimes. That's another thing to point out with the in-game time's accuracy here. Oh, stream's dropping. Oh dear. Hopefully that doesn't last too long. Oh, go. Things slipped out, but everything should be fine though. We have the casino area ahead, which is a pretty cool and well-designed thing. Kind of looks like a Sonic stage. A lot of people like that. Really cool stage though. Sliding off ledges can be more optimal movement-wise, so we want to take advantage of that. Oh, get up here. In there. And I'm kind of sliding around a little bit. Hopefully the stream's still fine for you folks. Let me know if there's any issues. Oh. So now we got dice we're dealing with. So the face on the dice is actually the amount of points you're going to get from that dice. So we got 5, we're going to get 5 points. It's a Meta Knight only technique. Kirby doesn't get that. Stream's fine? Very good. So as I was saying a couple of times, and as I will be saying later, because I'm off my commentary track that I kind of practiced beforehand, we have the roulette table. We want to get these balls in a certain order. And I could have taken a charge beam in order to get that a little bit faster, but I just missed that opportunity. That's fine. We're still good. We have 50 points here. And we'll be going into this cannon room right here, but cannons are slow, and Meta Knight agrees, so we're gonna go dash right through it and fly by the seat of our wings. And next we have the car room. This room is actually like on local timers. That is like when you get to certain parts in the stage, certain cars are gonna start moving. So we want to get here at different rates. Oh, that was really close, by the way. Nearly got hit. When you get hit, you get like a face splat animation, and that just bounces into the screen and it looks silly. But it wastes a lot of time. It actually wastes double the time because when you're under meta quick, double speed, so you'll be losing 2 times the time you normally would. Yep, missed the slide there. Kinda hard to get some of these sometimes. And shuttle loop does slow down depending on like how far you're going at an upward angle. So we want to be always heading down. Fast falls, because this game has those. Oh, that's bad. Do I have a backup? I think I have an idea, but I don't know. So there's this Waddle Dees, and we're good. Yeah, that big Waddle Dee gives 2 points, it's pretty useful. Game's just a lot. I've definitely practiced this game a lot to know routes and backup routes, and just my whole way around it. Current record holder of this game at a 44-minute and 30-second in-game time. And the game can actually even go lower than that, too. It's pretty astounding. And we have Dubiors here, who will take a minute Knightmares, but has a little more health than most bosses. So we'll just do another shuttle loop. So what I was trying to explain before, at least 3 times and failed, was that 3DS, new 3DS, and downloaded versions and non-downloaded versions of this game all have like different loading times, which kind of makes the Kirby speedrun suck a little bit, pun intended. But you can actually like time those out for the run. It's a little bit annoying, but with this game mode, you don't have to worry about that. Your splits are always with you. Anyway, this is a retro throwback to a Kirby 64 boss right here, as well as a throwback to a few other Kirby bosses. First up, we have Kracko. I'll just be dealing with him with shuttle loops. Very good. Good fight. And this is Spear Doomers from Kirby Return to Dream. There they go. Love that fight. And this is Ice Dragon from KDL2. Dive into this one a couple of times. And that's that. These are all 2.0 bosses, by the way. They're slightly harder than Kirby's version, but they're dealt with a lot easier because Meta Knight just has all the tools at his disposal here. That's Coily Rattler from Return to Dreamland. I mean from Triple Deluxe. I actually haven't played Triple Deluxe, I mean to sometime. We have a quick kill we're going to try, and we got it. You can hit that boss when they're under the platform there. They just have to be raising up and towards the screen when they're flying. It's kind of hard to do, and it's a little bit random though. But we got that quick kill, so that's good. So next up we have Overload Ocean. All the level names in this game are based off, one, technology, and 2, you form them all up. You actually get the acronym for program. Well, you get the acronym program. But anyway, we gotta be tight on points here. We have to hit all of these enemies here. We're good. And swimming in this game is pretty interesting. Meta Knight keeps his sword, and just kind of press A button to swim faster. Up, get in there. Get in there, you nerd. And now we're going to fight Blocky. Much the same way we have with the other bosses, though. Blocky doesn't really get a chance to shine. And again, we're going to skip this because it's not as fast as flying. It doesn't really matter how many points we have by the end of this section because there'll be an auto-scroller coming up here. Not too much to talk about there. Another great time for donations, or I can actually talk about the history of other Meta Knightmare games, because I'm a series runner. This is not the first. Put the loop combos into a slash, and we just do a backwards version.
We don't have any readable donations right now. We're talking about the game. Commentaries and stuff.
Well, here we are at that auto-scroller. There's cute little gears on the top, left, right, and bottom of the screen. And yeah, that just tells us that we gotta wait for this whole section to pass. So, let's see here. What can we talk about? Let's talk about the history of this series, because it all started in 2001, where Kirby Knightmare and Dreamland was a remake of the classic NES Kirby's Adventure. And that game featured an extra mode for just time attack. It had a timer, it had everything going for it. It's called Meta Knightmare. Well, as Meta Knight, you didn't have any powers or anything, you just kind of had your slash, up stab, down stab, and sliding. That was about it. And you just competed to see how fast you could go through the game, up to D to D. Fast forward to 2008, Kirby Superstar Ultra came out, a remake of Kirby Superstar, and we have Meta Knightmare Ultra, which premiered in that mode. Go up. And that game mode just had you going from Spring Breeze to Milky Way Wishes. And it had all of these powers that Meta Knight currently has in that game mode, as well as one for just calling helpers. It got replaced by Galaxia's Darkness in MKR, is what this one is. I actually prefer this game mode equally to Meta Knightmare Ultra. I mean, yep, Meta Knightmare Ultra, which is Kirby Superstar Ultra's Meta Knight game mode. But then this game comes out in 2016, about 10 years later, which is pretty cool. I was actually speedrunning MKU at the time, and I thought it was like amazing that my speed game was finally getting some recognition and finally get to like show off my talent to like a whole new audience that was interested in this, and it turned out to be one of the better Kirby games of its generation. So I'm definitely proud of that. There's just a lot of auto-scrollers to it. That's the only thing that really holds this one back. That can be annoying to some people. Also, like, 3D game loading times. Those are like the only two things that really bother me about this one. It's still a stellar game. Using that word a lot. It's a good word. Anyway, this Rusty right here, sometimes he'll just do a catch-up move and kind of get caught up in a tornado of stabs. Fun. Oh, that's wonderful. So we got some more candy, and we're gonna head through this dangerous dessert here. It's a nice aesthetic. So again, Metaquick doesn't stack, but we'll be using one here because we have an excess of points. This one's going pretty good so far, I'd say. I agree. Meta Knight gets invincibility on many of his moves, like dash attack, shuttle loop, spin slashes, dives. A lot of his words are just like... A lot of his moves are just like invincible, and you just go through enemies and do stuff. So anyway, we're coming up to our first long underwater section, not just a couple of ponds. And we're going to switch to our D-pad here, because I've actually prefer circle pad for like shuttle looping and doing other movement techniques, but D-pad's really nice for moving underwater because one, when you try to enter a door, it's gonna like go all sorts of crazy on me. And for two, it's just really nice to have that option for controls. More companies should like do different things with their control settings. Especially for game modes like this, is really important. So there was a bonkers to the right there. A lot of people don't know you can skip them, so there you go. If you make it through this room really fast, you can actually like get hit by a fish at the end, so not recommended. We took a hit there somewhat intentionally. It was an accident, but I wanted to make it intentional. It was RNG manipulation for the very end game. Speaking of RNG, there's not a lot to this game. It's really just movement optimization, and there's one or two things here that can go wrong, cost you like 10-15 seconds overall, but skill is rewarded. And now we come up to a section where you have to move left or right to tilt a cannon. Like I said, Meta Knight isn't really good with tilting cannon. I'm only going to do this once. It's still not as satisfying as tilting GameCubes, though, if you ask me. Tilting GameCubes is the best. Meta Knight kind of moves in a, like a free 3D environment, which is weird when you're comparing it to like Meta Knightmare Ultra or any of the other Kirby games with them in it. There's a lot more freedom. Refreshing our shuttle loop a couple of times to go fast. And we're going to fly all the way up here. We have about 50 points right now, so we don't need to worry about this room or any enemies in it. Gonna loop into the water just to get a little more speed. And we're entering the fish room. We gotta go fast here. And we got 2 exploding blocks with 1 sword swing. That's good. Sword swing slightly slow you down. And we're gonna try to hopefully dodge these fish. Good. And we're gonna get hit by this second Gordo up here. And that'll keep us from getting knocked into the background by those fish. Invincibility frames just last that long. Good. And he's gonna swim up here. We're gonna dodge our Wild E buddy again. Sorry, dude. Maybe next time. That might have been a bit of an obscure reference, though. It's a reference to Kirby Tilt and Tumble, which you have to play on a GameCube if you ever want to record it. It's another fun Kirby game I recommend. Oh, we missed one. We're fine, we just need to get an extra robot. So, next boss we're coming up on is Susie herself. Altman's secretary and executive assistant. We have a specific strategy for dealing with her. So we're going to do a Condor dive and about 4 shuttle loops. Sometimes it takes 5. And she's going to go into her second phase here, spawn a couple of robots. We're going to beat both of them. And do the same thing we did with Clanky, except she can have yellow health. So now we have the third phase, and all we need to do is simply dash attack into her, and there she goes. That's the fight. Yeah, Susie got a lot of style, I agree. So that was not near my best time, I was about 8 seconds off, but still a very good run so far for a marathon. Next level we're coming up on is Gigabyte Ground. This is a very long, dry, boring desert. So, if we have any donations at this time, feel free to read. And if not, we can talk about something else, maybe. Talk about these blunders in the background. What are they even mixing here? The longer you do a shuttle loop in this game, the more actual speed that you pick up with it. So, one thing you could do to just go faster. But sometimes chaining shuttle loops is better, because you're going to be tilting up a little bit, and that means you go slower. Like here, we're going to be going down and then flying all the way back up. That's slightly faster than not doing so. And try to stick this landing. We got it. That's a very thin landing right there. We're going to need these 2 enemies. Oh, barely made that one. Sometimes if you're too fast, you'll miss that. And we got some wind turbines pushing us forward as well. Those do slightly speed us up. Slide off this ledge, and we're going to deal with some more of those. They actually spew noxious gas right here, and that does damage. So we're going to be fast in this room, so we don't have to deal with that. We can flap into bombers, and they actually just fall from one flap of Meta Knight's wings. And that's important for level 6, where there's a lot of those. Anyway, we're low on points. We get to skip a meta quick here. And I'm going to warn you folks, there's some Waddle Dee violence coming up. If you don't like Waddle Dee violence, I recommend you look away now, because we do need them for the points. They're cyborgs, by the way, so if that makes it any better. Yep, there was a refresh player button built right in there, so you can just click that now. Which is always changing things. Poyo. Everyone give a little Poyo for PoyoBot. So running across these conveyor belts is pretty fast, so we do that. And whenever you have to deal with one of these pipes, we just jump right in. Yep. And now we're fighting a Dubiorus that is a little bit trickier, but we don't have a Meta Knightmare, so we have to use the darkness. This is part of the route too. Hopefully we'll get this. Oh, nope. So, Dubiorus has a shield that they can bring up, and it can actually get in the way quite a bit. If you defeat it before it starts charging though, you'll be fine. We're going to carry our Metacritic through this save room. By the way, if you like quit in any of these save rooms, it erases all your points, but you can still like do the run later, technically. Although our leaderboard on SRCom only takes single segment runs, but it also takes pictures. So if you don't want to buy like a really expensive, really rare 3DS capture card, you can just submit a photo of this game. As long as you don't have record, it should be fine. And we don't want to use Galaxia's Darkness on this boss for a particular reason. It's because we need all these points. Thank you for good luck, Kinky. And thanks to everyone involved with this marathon. It's been pretty cool so far. Another little grassroots thing. Gosh, it's hot in here. I gotta turn the AC, but kinda gotta go fast at the same time. What do I do? Dive into that, and we'll get those 3 points. And we have another sort of violence area, but it's going to be against a mummy, unfortunately. Right in this chest right here. We only need to defeat it 3 times. And the star spawns right now. They're coming up to the wind room. Can provide a bit of a challenge, but we should be fine as long as we get through it fast. We'll see how we do. Oh, so close. So that is going to throw a couple of cycles off. These are on global timers, not local timers. That means we're going to take a little bit more damage than we would have liked. Meta Knight has a lot of health in this game compared to like the other modes. In Knightmare Ultra, he barely has any at all, and he only has 3 health in Nightmare in Dreamland. There's a lot of key differences between those runs too. But in this game, he has the most health. And we're gonna skip that star because it's not fast. And we have 50 points here, which means we don't need to get this 8 points right below us, or the extra sticker. There's only one sticker that is really like attainable in this round, and that was the one we just missed. Goodbye.
Hey, guest, let me know when it's okay to read a donation, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
We have a $25 donation from Crazy Steam Time. Says, Happy Trans Pride Weekend. Thanks, guys, for all your donations. And remember, they go to benefit Transgender Law Center. If you want to have more information, it should be in the panels below the stream.
Thank you very much for the donation there. This is a very good cause you folks are donating towards Trans Law Center. Alright, so next boss we have is a stock version of Meta Knight himself. Suzy turns him into a robot, but Meta Knight can't fight himself in this game mode. Unlike in Nightmare in Dreamland where he does. But we gotta fight just a stock version of him. And he can block attacks randomly. He's being nice right now though. Oh, he blocked too. That's fine. And we'll just deal with him with shuttle loops and down stabs. And phase 2, grow the tail. And we'll just deal with him as such. He needs one more attack. I believe the sound was fine. And that would be all of level 4. Came 2 seconds close to our best time there. It's actually one of the levels that I have the worst time in, level 4. Definitely be a few, like, around 4 or 5 seconds faster. Some of the best for this game is around a 44-minute and 9-second time. And if you actually did a tool-assisted speedrun at this point, it would be around 43 minutes, so we've made this game incredibly fast with just all the techniques that have been found. Also, this place has some really sweet music, Rhythm Route. I'll be skipping a chest right above us here. And there's a sleepy enemy with just show the way there, fortunately. They're just sleeping there, but they give 2 points, so I gotta get them. Okay, that Kibble Blade was not being nice. Oh well. Just made it run a little bit slower. So we want to get 23 points before the end section of this part. Then we're going to get an extra meta quick. If not, that's fine too. We'll be right on target. Awesome. There we go. $34 points would have been nicer, but oh well. This means we'll go a little bit slow next section. I'm prepared though. So there's a dice right here. Let's see if we get it. If you dash attack, like, you have about a 2-frame window to do that dash attack. But if you do, you get 3 points. It's not required, but it's nice. And it looks cool too. Oh, didn't get those. That's fine. The roulette section coming up here will get a lot of points, so we'll be fine. And there we have it. Everyone's pog champing in stream when they should be poyoing. Kicking my head. There we go. Yeah, Garbage got the right idea. Okay, 248 to that star is awesome. Really awesome time. Midnight is also okay. Oh, that was obscene. Let's just pretend that one didn't happen. Anyway, we got the Death Disco DDR room, and we're gonna go through and dash attack a few times in it. And we're done. Awesome. Poyo's on a universal timer. You have to wait a little bit before you can Poyo again. You gotta wait for the Poyo to charge. Anyway, we got a train here, and this train has a lot of auto-scrollers to it, but we can make it interesting. When you're in the foreground, you can just go normal speed. When you're in the background, it auto-scrolls. Ooh, barely made that one. And that Wild D just escaped me. How dare they? Man, I may be powerful, but at least he has a heart. There's Bonkers. We'll be dealing with Bonkers at the end of the game. But for now, Meta Knightmares. Boom. So we have a strat here. We're going to charge up our Sky Knight Sword. Slide right over here. Hit it with a switch. Got it. Oh, almost didn't get those points. So now we have this room, and if you jump and just start flying here, you're gonna get by one of these music springs, and we don't want that to happen. So we do a slide first. And this is my Knightmare combo video, because this is a very long, boring auto-scroller. Great for time for donations. I'm just gonna be pressing buttons meanwhile. We do need those up top if we don't have 50 by the end of this. This room's great. This remix is also great. Also, there's a cat driving this train. I see no problem with this whatsoever. So the next boss coming up is another familiar Kirby boss. It's a clone of a very famous familiar Kirby boss. You could say it's the perfect character. No one like him. The man of the hour. King of the D's. Eh? No? Okay. It's DDD clone. So DDD was cloned by Susie, and now we have to fight him. And that was a pretty good first phase there. You want him with the cape first phase instead of this phase because, well, it does more damage, more optimally. At least I think. More testing. And it'll respawn about 3 times, so we gotta do short loops. Where are you going? Third time, all it takes is 1 hit to go down. Alright, so part 2 of this is that these 3 Ds go into the D3 cannon, and we hit them with Meta Knightmares. Because Meta Knightmares can hit enemies in the background. And next we're going to charge up a Spin Slash. It's going to throw 2 bombs at us. And we want to hit those back. But not at the same time, otherwise not fast. We're going to hit him back much like that. And he spits fire, and we throw a beam, and dive, and shrimp loop. And that's the fight, and that's a PB gold split for this segment. I know my best here was 710, now it's 709. Enjoy the fireworks. There's a little new right there to tell you that we got a gold. It's nice. So now we have level 6 Access Arc, which is longest level of the game, takes about 20 minutes real time. And it's about 14 minutes in-game time otherwise. I like to view this run as like levels 1 through 3, then 4, 5, and then 6. 3 different parts to it. And we have a nice cutscene of Meg going into the ship here that you can't skip, so we'll just enjoy it. Remember those bombers? Well, we're going to fly into some. Mostly with our wings, but you get the point. Get in there, thank you. Sometimes Meta Knight just likes to hang out by doors. No idea why. Like, you press up by the door, he's not near enough to it. This is our next boss we have to deal with. Security Force is a general from Return to Dreamland turned into one of Haltman's robots, and he has a self-destruct phase. And we fight him 7 times, by the way. But without self-destruct phase, you just have to do a couple of shuttle loops and dives into him, and you should be fine. Each time you fight him, he has a little bit different health. And we got Candy back here. So we got about 3 double hits there. Double hits happen when you're doing a damaging animation to the enemy, but it actually like interrupts the fact that like he's taking damage from the candies, and then there's a hit pause. It avoids that hit pause, so it's faster. We got a few there. And we're going to go through this section right here. 5 points backup if you don't have 50 by this area. But we have a couple of backups even for those backups now, because we've been practicing so much. So many different ways to play this game, but so many few ways to play it fast. And we'll hit Meta Knightmares now. That should be enough. Up just a little bit off. Yeah, I love this song. It's one of my favorite songs in the game. This stage right here, like the intro and everything. There we go. Boom, auto-scroller. Locks you in. If only we could have a way to skip that, but alas, we don't. Meta Knight Sword interrupts these little lightning gates. Cool. Got a little hitbox. Love how like new and polished and 3D this game is. It's definitely one of the better Kirby games that's been released. So again, another great time for donations. We have a full string of auto-scrollers up ahead for the rest of this level. But if we don't, we can talk about the record history for this game, which is also interesting. I got a pretty hard room I'm dealing with here, so let's go ahead and focus. Alright, those 3 points are actually not easy to get, but they're required for the next section if you want to Meta Knightmares, the general boss. Get rid of that. We don't need Game Boy Kirby. It's a puzzle. Puzzles are slow. Even though Kirby is cute. Yes, Kirby Master's Almighty Magoo is universally known. So now we have some more Death DDR panel stuff going on here, and batteries. These batteries, again, are puzzles. We don't need them. Not too much of anything of interest right here. We just have to wait for the star to spawn each time. We'll get this a couple more times. So, interestingly enough for this game, Record has shifted a lot since it first came out. It's only been a year. It's really hard to believe it's only been a year, and this game has seen progression of a few years. So, first record was held by Demolition 1-4 via a pirated copy of this game, unfortunately. But afterwards, I ended up getting my hands in this game with a lot of experience from Meta Knightmare Ultra, and attained the record around a 49-minute time. Then we kind of like had a little bit of a war of getting our times down further and further. Last year, my record cap was about 47 I could get. Between that, we had an event called Smash the Record occur, and there's someone called Morbid Pyro who ended up getting some really cool times for this game, and I thought it was would be neat to invite him to STR since I was going to that event. He's like, "Hey, you want to record this on 3DS Capture sometime?" I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "Sure." So we met up, played the game there. Became really cool. And he got around a 46-minute and 1 second time recorded. Although his best is like a 45-48. Fast forward to like halfway into 2017, like March or so, quarter way into 2017. Kurohito 2, a Japanese Nico video runner, released a speedrun tutorial video in Japanese for this game. Our community stumbled upon it, and that Knuckle Joe never stands a chance, by the way. Our community kind of stumbled upon that, and there was a lot of good strats, and it became a 48 and it became a 48-minute and 44-second record for the game as of that time, because that was what the time was recorded in Japanese run. They claimed that the 45-12 was the best possible based off some of the best segments that that person had. But later, this year, we've been grinding this game down into the 44s. We, as in me. Gotta take a little bit of credit for myself somewhere, you know? I mean, I shouldn't flaunt my ego, but whatever. This is definitely something I've worked hard on. Since it's coming up for Summer Games Done Quick soon, and I want this to be like a tutorial video for that run in English. I definitely want to like represent this community too. Kirby and Mennonite speedruns are great. Lost control of my flight there a little bit. Yes, thank you everyone for the host. You are watching PUWP with Pride. And this is a charity stream benefiting the Trans Law Center. Feel free to donate. If not, feel free to share. We got some awesome events coming up here. That J2 can kind of be a jerk sometimes. We have exactly the amount of points we need for the next area though, so we're good. Yo, thank you for the flattery. I won't argue. $36 points is right on target, actually. I forgot we get 9 instead of 8 there. That security force we'll have to deal with for a while. Ah, I took a hit too. That shuttle loop right there was done right next to a wall, which pushed us forward a pixel. Save those frames. Well, not a pixel, just like a block of movement. Because all this stuff is rectangular for the game. Even though your movement is free, everything is still kind of rectangular and stuff. 654 is a great... Oh, 555. Never mind. I was going to say how great it was, but nope. Still a good time. I think 48 is possible here. I know my PB had a ridiculously good time for level 6. At least at one point. Then I kind of like got a better like level 3 time. And, you know, this game's shifting around a lot. 15 flips, and you'll get this guy every time. Mennonite's wings actually move as fast as you can press the button there, but it doesn't go up as fast as you can press the button. In Knightmare Ultra, that happens, but not in this game. Now we got a mini boss gauntlet. And we're gonna meta-quick here. Oh, just missed that enemy. Oh well. Ice Dragon we're gonna hit with a Galaxia's Darkness. Saves a little more time. Ooh, we had the dash attack at the end. Okay. Oh, we missed those 3 points from that giant sword knight. Versus... We're not going to be too far behind. We can get 3 points extra from some green guys in the EX stages. Yes, Mennonite has to play through all of Kirby's EX stages But no FFZ emote will ever come close to the joy that is Puyo. So here's the X stage 1, and we'll just go through it. Again, we don't want to like dash attack too many of these enemies, so we'll just shuttle loop here and there. And get hit. I didn't want it, but oh well. I get this J2, good. And you'll keep all your speed running on ice after you do a shuttle loop. Actually, that's one of the only places where it's useful. And underwater again. And we have this room, which has an enemy right behind us to tell us when we can shuttle loop. Nice little developer hint to speedrunners. Oh, and me being bad. I believe this is music that might be from Air Ride, or it might be its own kind of original mix. This one is straight from Superstar. This is... you should know this one. I'm playing as him. It's the Revenge. Poor Knuckle Joe. He has to fight us with his fists every time. So again, this is the last auto-scroller section, well, second to last auto-scroller section before the final boss. There's one more that's technically a boss itself. Remember, we're refighting a lot of dudes. Speaking of, here comes some more refights. We got Waddle Dee. Here to give us another present. We'll charge right forward. Those points in the background are slow every time. Don't get them. That Miasmos is dealt with one Condor Dive, that's 2 hits, a spin, and a shuttle loop. All dealing with that damage is enough to defeat, and go fast. I feel like I'm trying to do an infomercial, but I failed. The Bonkers here, we gotta put him down to half health before we Darkness. Otherwise, he'll do this hammer spinning attack, and it'll be really slow. And it can actually, like, knock us off our feet, too. It'll go into a slow, like, damage animation. You know what other boss has this in the game? The last boss. You know what the last boss has? A lot of RNG. We'll get to him when we get to him. And we got Clanky again. We're gonna need some more points, so we'll hit the missiles that he spews at us. We're gonna get these two. So yeah, we have to like shuttle loop Clanky into oblivion pretty much, but like, we also need points. We'll need about 28 if we don't want to have to defeat these Suzy bots with Haltman. But we're only one short, so one Suzy bot wouldn't be too much to ask. So, we are at the end of the game. We are at the final bosses. I know, they know how to pick all the music for Robobot. They really do know how to pick all the Kirby music out at the end. So, speaking of the end, we have a cutscene. This cutscene saves in-game time if we don't skip it, so we won't. I'm just kidding, this is Marathon, I have to. Sorry folks, you're gonna lose about 30 seconds. And it's only like 6 to 8 seconds in-game time. Oh well. So there's Holtman. He can either jump to the left or the right when he first spawns. 80% of the time, it's the left. When those students about to rise up, we hit Meta Knightmares. If we do that before, we won't get these 12 points from them. So here comes phase 2. Don't blink or you'll miss it. Did you blink? So here comes phase 3. He's going to rain down Suzy Bots. He's also going to make it rain with all the donation money we made up to this point. Again, we only need to defeat one of these. He's on the opposite side. That was kind of funny, but it worked. Final stage. Before he gets in that cube, we're going to hit him with a darkness and shuttle loop him. And that should be it. So that's first boss. And next, Stardream in the background, that little heart-shaped thing. Heart-shaped robot. We won't be fighting him. We'll be actually fighting some of the strongest sword-wielding warriors in the galaxy, and we have nice intro cutscenes for all of them. For time's sake, we have to skip them, but the first one we have is a clone of KDL2's Dark Matter. That's phase 1. You can like defeat them so fast that they don't even have time to like get to the rest of their attacks. They really do have some like nice attacks though. Like they're just like pure tributes to like the old Kirby games. The next swordsman boss is actually a swordswoman, and it's Queen Sectonia, a clone. And we'll deal with her much the same way as we were dealing with other bosses, very, very fast. Now she'll try to stalk you, as in she'll try to appear behind you every time. You have to be very careful with this one. The most damage you can do to her is a Condor Dive into Shuttle Loop, which is actually really risky because you're going to take a hit. You actually need health for the final boss we'll be fighting in a second. Oh, that's not great. But hey, we're fine. So next, we have the RNG Knightmare of this game. He can block your attacks, he can just do attacks that go into the background, and he can just like do whatever he wants. His name is Galactonite. And he's not being nice so far. Also, he can like stun lock you and do tons of damage. Just because he wants. And that, there's one of the things he can do. We want to be like in a damage animation so we don't get hit by his like tornadoes. And he's being a super jerk. But he's done. I say he's done because he's pretty much nearly done with that. You're gonna get some awesome music and hit a Meta Knightmares now. The reason that is we're doing it now is because he gets the giant pink space hole attack, which we don't want him to do. And we have to like defeat him quickly if we don't want him to do that. And he is done. Time for this game. RTA is called right when you see the results screen in-game time, by the way. That's time. 44 for a marathon, that's very impressive. Here's your splits. This is what we ended up getting on the run here. And that's your end screen. That is the whole game. That was a really good run. 44 on Marathon has not been seen yet, so hey, we did that. Who knows how good we'll have it at GDQ. Watch this game on Summer Games Done Quick, July 5th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. But keep watching this for now, Power Pride 2017. Next up, we have a Hercules bench press doing a very popular Metroid game, Fusion. So stick around for that. Make sure he's in the chat here. We got the awesome credits music to accompany us for now. Alright, so we're going to turn it over to Hercules Bench Press with some Metroid Fusion at this point. Thank you for watching, folks. Keep it real. Keep it here.